Good morning, gentlemen. Nice talking to you again. जैसे आप जानते हो मैं हूं मदन सिंह, आपके पुराने दोस्त, एंड आई एम गोइंग टॉक टू यू अबाउट द सुपरनैचुरल। आप जानते हो कि व्हाट इज सुपरनैचुरल, क्या चीज है? सुपरनैचुरल मींस समथिंग which is out of this world, which is not which is not ordinary, something which cannot be explained. और एक बात before I will say before I go forward, our gurus have said कि आपको अगर गॉड से मिलना है तो यू नीड ए गाइड। गाइड मीन्स यू नीड ए गुरु, और ये हर एक आदमी को such a person is not available in this world. I would say I am a little lucky in the sense I have come across many spiritual persons and they have given me a lot of guidance. मैं आपको ये उनके बारे में बताऊंगा अभी। And the first thing I must tell you, the supernatural means something out of the ordinary, something which a common man cannot get. So दोस्तों, सबसे पहले मैं आपको बताता हूं something about the goddess Chandi. Now Chandi जो है, she is actually one of the incarnations of Durga and she is known as the goddess of war. और ये जो goddess है, ये you can bring her, or rather you can become her follower, or you can have a communion with her if you recite certain mantras. Now ये मंत्र जो है मैं तो नहीं जानता, but there are people who know and they are not accessible to everybody. यानी ये ऐसे नहीं है कि it is something जो हर एक आदमी इसको लगे. This is something, कोई गिफ्टेड चीज है, कोई ऐसा आदमी आपको मिले who can tell you. गुरु गोविंद सिंह जो थे, इन्होंने एक चैप्टर लिखा है इन द दसम ग्रंथ which is called Chandi Dbral. That is, it's a tribute to the goddess Chandi. And he was a follower of goddess Chandi, that is the goddess of war. And there are reports कि ये 40 दिन जाके हिमाचल प्रदेश के जंगलों में he was doing a lot of tapasya and prayer, and then he achieved this goddess. Now ये आपको लगेगा is a myth or something, but मैं आपको real बात बताता हूँ. You see, my father, when he used to go to the village, he used to move around in and out of the village, and once he went and saw that there was a big sadhu sitting under a tree, banyan tree. So he went to pay him obeisance. उन्होंने मथा टेका उनको और कहा, हजूर मैं आपके दर्शन करने चाहता हूँ. And the sadhu was very impressed with him. In Punjabi we called him a chela, and he said, बेटे, I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you a mantra. और ये मंत्र आप 40 रात के लिए इसको मिडनाइट में जाके एक पॉन्ड के अंदर waste steam water, यानी you got to dip yourself to waste steam water and recite this mantra 40 times every night for 40 nights. 40 times you have to do this mantra. And on the 41st night you will get exemplary powers. So my father started doing these things. He would go every night for 40 nights in the middle of the pond. There was a pond near the village. Get into waste steam water, sit down there and do the prayer. On the 41st night, something strange happened. He found the water was turbulent and suddenly there was fire all around. Mind you, gentlemen, fire all around. He was frightened. And then suddenly the fire vanished and the whole pond was filled with alligators, crocodiles, and they were rushing towards him with their mouth open. That is the time he lost his nerve and ran away. When he was running away, he saw that his uncle was also running away from the same pond, and he was a little surprised. Next day, anyway, he went back to the chela and asked him, "Sir, ये क्या हुआ? What happened? This is हमें तो कुछ नहीं मिला. हमें तो सिर्फ we saw only alligators and fire." And the chela said, "This was the method the goddess Chandi was going to test you. And if you had had the nerve and stayed on, you would have had communion with her. She would have come in a boat, in a big ship, and taken you. So, well, gentlemen, this is something which is like Ripley's Believe It or Not. But the very fact that the tale is told by my father, who was a senior Air Force officer, I think I will take it as true. So there are so many incidents in India, and I'm sure they must be there in the world also, wherein by means of recitations of mantras and japs you can achieve supernatural powers. Most of the saints and sadhus in India have this lore, and they go around uh, spreading their wisdom. I used to go very often to Ujjain, and Ujjain, as you know, is one of the holiest places in India and the home of Hinduism. But I used to go there because somebody told me there is a man called the Dbral Baba who lives there. Now, who was this Dbral Baba? He was supposed to be a Bhagat or a follower of Lord Shiva in his fierce incantation, in his fierce form. Lord Shiva also has many forms, and one of his forms is Kal Bhairav. Kal Bhairav is actually the fierce form of Shiva, and he likes alcohol. There's a temple to him dedicated to in Ujjain, and when you go to the temple, you'll find that if you hold a plate of whiskey to his lips, the whiskey vanishes. Where does it go? Somebody said it's surface tension. And then some scientists came and investigated. They couldn't find where the whiskey goes, but it does evaporate. It goes away. And the people who believe, they say it is drunk by the god himself. Now this Dbral Baba was a follower of this man, of this guru, of this god, Kal Bhairav, and I happened to meet him at least half a dozen times. And I always thought he had uncanny powers. Of course, he was never 100% correct because he was not God. But उनके पास power थी. He had a unique power, and that unique power was that he could read your mind, number one. Number two, he would tell you something which you didn't know about yourself or about your friends, about even your close relations. And he would tell you so many things. The Dbral Baba once told me that, listen, your days in the Air Force are going to finish. I said, how is that? Well, he said, आपको बहुत ऊंची job मिलेगी. You are going to go up very high. I came back to Delhi, and then my brother-in-law from Canada landed, and he had come with an idea to set up a airline, Indo-Canadian Airways. And he said, FG, I want you to leave the Air Force and become the vice president of this airline. And then I remembered the words of the Baba, Dbral Baba. I have met him so many times, and then I took his photographs and put an article about him also on the web. I think if people search for it, they'll be able to find it. The Dbral Baba was a supernatural being. So many people used to go to him, and last time I met him, I found that he had passed away. Dbral Baba was an educated man, and he used to work in the University of Ujjain. He was a librarian, I think. Some of the job I can't be sure. But after he retired, he became a full-time follower of Kal Bhairav, and he was having these supernatural powers. Once he died, you see, somebody told me there's another person available called Baba Tandon or somebody. Now, I tell you, there are so many charlatans among, so I'll not talk much about Tandon. I did meet him once, but he didn't impress me. I won't say anything more about it. And then there was another chap I met in Ujjain. He was known as the Moni Baba. Moni Baba means he wouldn't talk. He wouldn't talk, and he would only talk by sign language. He was a man also with spiritual powers. He was very old when I met him, maybe 90 years. And he was very happy to see me, but he wouldn't say anything. And I asked him, and he asked me rather, you have any question? Through sign language, there's the interpreter who sits by his side. and whatever he say, he writes it down and gives it to you. So I told him, Baba, I have no question. But the Baba himself told me, you are going to make a name outside the force in which you are working now. I'm a little surprised. He said, yes, you are going to make a name outside the force which you are doing. I was that time a wing commander in the Air Force. And I came away a little surprised, and I met his interpreter outside. I said, what does Baba means? He says, Baba sees that you are going to do achieve something more. And Duke or gentlemen, an inspiration came to me and I started writing books. I wrote 22 books till now, novels, and finally the Sainik Samachar, recognized me as the third writer in 100 years with a military background who wrote fiction in India. The other two being Colonel John Masters and Colonel Bulgankar. So I'll just give you an insight that there are spiritual powers available and they are only with certain select persons and they are the ones who can give you guidance. When I used to be a bachelor, I was posted in Bombay, and that is the time I met one of my friends, a very senior man. His name was Squadron Leader Pandey. I think, I don't know where is he now. And he had a problem. He was having a divorce with his wife. And he told me, MG, would you like to come across and meet a man who is supposed to be a very renowned Swami and he stays in Basai village, long time, very far away from Bombay, about 60 miles. And there's a small village there called Nirmal Gaon. He has an ashram. I want to go. Would you like to come with me? I said, okay, I'd love to go and meet some people. And his name was Swami Shardanand. I met him. And he did have uncanny powers. I don't know. He would read the mind. And he told us from where we had come and why we had come. And in front of the people, he said that to Pandey, that your whatever you wish is going to take place very shortly. And after that, the decree came in which Pandey got a divorce from his wife. Now, Swami Shardanand had a little peculiarity in the sense, a number of times I have seen girls going with him into his sanctum sanctorium, used to be underground grotto. Now, a lot of people will wonder, what is all this, But Hinduism has got one other aspect, and that is the achievement of God through carnal knowledge, through love, through the physical act. And that is not something which I'm going to discuss now, and I will revert back to another man who was there in Bombay. He's no more now, and he used to be a Muslim peer. Now, Muslim peers are very, very unique in the sense they have some unique powers also, and they follow a different brand. And the peer's name, I will tell you, it is Peer Nasruddin Badshah Mian Khadri Naqshbandi. He was a very powerful peer. And he was a Kachi Muslim, but he had gone through all the rituals, and I became very friends with him. His maximum power used to be up to 1 o'clock at night, and that's the time I used to sometimes go on a motorbike. I used to have a Royal Enfield in those days and go and meet the Baba and have a chat with him. You may be wondering why I was doing all these things. Well, it's my curiosity, my wish to learn something about the supernatural that took me there. And we used to have so many things. And then one day I called the Baba and his elder brother for dinner to the officers' mess. And we had vegetarian food prepared because the Baba had said that he would like only halal meat. And I told Baba Sahib, I don't eat halal, so would vegetarian food be okay? He said, wonderful, I like it. And vegetarian food, we had the mess staff serving him. Something strange, though people were wondering, who's this man who's come here, a Baba, and his brother. After the dinner was over, the Baba told me, and I think Squadron Leader Pandey was at that time, He told me, he said, son, just go outside to the road and bring a paddle. I was really taken aback. I said, sir, you want me to do this? He said, yes. So I went out, including my friend Pandey, and we picked up two small pebbles, road pebbles from the road, and brought them. And I kept my pebble in my hand. And then when I came inside the room, there was a spark of lightning. I think I felt something was there, and nothing is there. There's a crackling sound, and when the Baba was smiling, he said, open your fist, and I opened my fist and found that pebble, that small pebble had been turned into a polished gem. Now you have no explanation. I got no explanation for it, but this is a physical experience which I had, a traumatic experience, and I realized the power of the Baba. The Baba was my guide for many years till he died a long time back. And after that, for some time, I was a little forlorn till his son took over, but he didn't have the same power, the same charisma, the same magnetism. So, gentlemen, here is another man, and he used to be, I can give you his address on Muhammad Ali Road in Bombay. You can go there at room number 21, Moti Chawl. You can still go and meet his ancestors, his descendants there. But he was something unique. Swami Shardanand was not on the same level. And then, of course, I've given you the incident of the Chela and the goddess Chandi. Now, gentlemen, let's discuss another issue. I used to go very often to Assam, because there we have a big strength of the Air Force. And one I was member of the Air Staff Inspection Team. We used to fly there, and I used to go to places called Kumbhigram. Kumbhigram is a very big Second World War II airfield. And one of my sergeants told me, sir, you come so very often, but you must meet the Baba here and go. I said, which Baba is this? He gave me a name, which is not important. He said he's a Bengali, and he's got only one eye, and he sees only through one eye, but he gives you a cup of tea when you go, and don't give him any money. He doesn't want any money or anything like that. I said, okay, we'll not do that. I met the Baba twice, and on the third visit I found he had expired and gone away. He was so old. But there was no doubt about it that the Baba was something unique in this world, and he's the one who told me that your days are getting over here and you are now going to a very high position. And then I got selected for the Defense Services Staff College. Now you can say there are coincidences or there are whatever you call it, but the fact is that something unique has been happening in my life. I've got so many other things. I've been fond of the occult. I've done courses in astrology. I have had astrological friends. So, gentlemen, it's all part of the game. But if I continue further, I'll be very glad if you can subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and come back again and again and listen. If you people are interested, I'll make some more videos on these aspects and discuss in detail. I have done courses in numerology, and maybe at some stage, if you feel, I would be able to answer some questions also. Well, gentlemen, I think I'm coming to the end of my video. I'm very happy with life as it is, but I feel I'm one of the exalted ones to have got these experiences which are supernatural. And it's not everybody who can have them. Goodbye, sir.